trying to start doing that. Which means half the time I'm like, well, is there a holiday or something that I can write about? Or anything, so I'm like, all right, I've got a challenge for today. But today I thought I would share with you, I'm just randomly picking out pieces, poems that I don't have from reading from this book. Years ago, John came up with this word. If you can be attracted to somebody's pheromones, maybe you can be attracted to my memes, my ideas, my words. So pheromemes became the title for poetry books. I released 2 of them in 2017 of things written in Austin, and this might be the last one, because I don't know how many pheromemes books I can do. But I got tired of having my mug on it, so I figured I'd take my kindergarten class, school class picture for the cover for it. But I was just going to share 3 from here, I guess. We'll see how this goes. I have, this will be fun. This first one, and that's the nice thing about doing a book. If you've got something with really long lines, you just set sideways
Yeah.
on the page. So I'm going to read to you a poem that is sideways in this book. The other nifty thing about this is if I do things, he's looking at it, if I have things and I have short poems that can be released on Instagram and all those things, I will release that photo as well that is in with it. And it's in a larger typeface for, you know, if you're in a really dark bar or something and want to be able to read, you still can. I don't know. This poem, these don't have pictures. This first one is called Queuing in Line and Shaping Your Life. Without a college education, men created companies that changed the modern world. Women have made Nobel Prize-winning scientific discoveries and innovation, even without a college education, back when they weren't even allowed to learn. Of course, going to school can really help you get your foot in the door, but some, in lieu of queuing in line and waiting for their chance to make a difference, they look for a way to subvert the system to get ahead on their own terms. So remember, when you see those who seem like misfits as you're growing up, or even when you're already an adult, don't you dare discount them as nothing. Behind closed doors, they may be the ones shaping the events of your world and your life. This one is a strange one. I think, I'll do this one. This one, one of the previous hosts of an open mic in Chicago, we would, remember a dream and decide to write it down. And this is one of my dreams poems, Dreams 2-3-19. I was at a local brewery, there alone, waiting for him to pick me up. But suddenly, all alone, I looked down and I saw that I had no pants on. I mean, I had a large t-shirt on, but no pants, and not even underwear or shoes. So I tried to pull my shirt down, I didn't know what else to do, and realized there were other people at this brewery, and no one seemed to even notice. No one was even looking at me. So I tried to act natural, though I kept pulling my shirt down over my legs. And at one point I looked over at a man and he said, "Hey, don't feel so bad. I don't have any pants on either." And when I looked at him, I saw that he had shoes on and he was wearing Speedos for underwear. So I thought, this is just a flamboyant guy trying to get attention. He might look indecent, but he's not exposed illegally. And it was just then that I spotted him. Thank God you're here. And I tried to pull my shirt down to cover myself up, and I said, "We've got to get out of here, like now." So we left the brewery, but suddenly, right outside the brewery, there was an outside impromptu flea market. I mean, seriously, there were booths, assorted nobodies selling random crap, and it didn't even occur to me to look for something those tables for something actually, anything for me to cover up with at them. I didn't even think of that. I just wanted to get out of this mess of people who shouldn't even be there in the first place. None of this should even be going on, and I don't even know where my pants and my underwear are. So then I turned to find my ride, to find my man, and he was nowhere to be found. He was right here. Where did he go? So then the next priority was to find him, because at this point he was my only way to get away from all of these strangers, while I don't even have anything to cover up the bottom half of me with. Now, at this point, I'm alone, and all I could think was that if he was here, he'd probably say that at least I've got nice legs to look at, and all I could do is pull my shirt down. That's what I'm thinking. This poem is a bout poem for you, and it is called Xylograph, My Story Must Be Told. No one ever thinks of how I feel. Artists, philosophers, novelists, they all think nothing of me, and they use me until they destroy me. They pay no notice of me unless I can serve their selfish purposes. They give me no regard, and then they take a razor to me, peeling me away until they can use me like they're all to their own ends. After smearing me all over their pages, they even rub away parts of what I have left until what they have splattered is to their liking. They're taking my blood, what is deep inside me, smearing it around into something altogether unholy. And all this time, I want to share my story with the world, but I cannot sculpt what is inside of me in a way the rest of the world would ever understand. Like molten clay, my graphite soul would relay a lifetime of torture from those who have understood abusing me only what is to meet their own petty needs. Save me from this fate. Etch my words into engravings, letter by letter, to print them for the world to see, so they may finally understand what for millennia they have done to me. I thought I'd just try to randomly pick out 3 pieces from Feral Memes.
Slow
I will see how. This first one is called Volumes of Philosophical Masterpieces. After I gained my master's in philosophy, I knew that to really understand the masters, I should study them in their original languages. From Aristotle and Plato, I found Greek volumes. From Kant and Nietzsche, I found German volumes. From Buddha, I found India's Gahari volumes. And Confucius, I found Chinese volumes. I would save my sorting for the ancient Christian and Muslim texts in Aramaic and the ancient Jewish texts in Hebrew or Hindi texts in Sanskrit until I mastered my first volumes. So these Chinese volumes stared at me defiantly as I opened books to see pages of beautiful characters I could not comprehend. Right now, India has 23 official languages, and all of which are elusive to me as Chinese. And not even thinking about Japanese or Korean, I decided to hold off on anything Latin. I turned to my Greek volumes, and as they say, it's all Greek to me. but it was fun to start to guess at least the pronunciation of words with Roman letters. These letters drawing pictures for me I could only artistically try to understand. Am I restrained by how some British fool interpreted words into English which no one argues with to get the real meaning of philosophy? I don't know. Maybe I'll put these ancient volumes back on their shelves and decide to learn philosophy by seeing what it truly means to me. That order seems tall enough even for the great minds to believe. Unaccredited, but yeah, it's not like for a scholarship from college for it, but that doesn't mean.
I always say, you did philosophy? Why?
Oh, don't even get me started.
I know.
There's some commercial that's like, oh, you've got a degree in art, and what are you going to do for a job?
That's right, yeah.
Oh, you're going to history major, and how are you going to employ yourself? Anyway, this one, I don't know what this is called Didn't Think Anything of It. Oh, I believe it was written on March 1st. Today is the day they found you. My friend said he heard you in the other room, making lots of noises at 4 a.m. He didn't think anything of it, but now he wonders if he could have saved you. We all wonder that now. What could we have done? How could we have made a difference? Could you still be alive today? I know that life for you wasn't going how you wanted it to go. You couldn't have the girl you loved. After being fired, you were left unemployed. You were a Red Wings man in a Blackhawks territory. But what were we supposed to do when we didn't know our transplant needed us? You never showed weakness or reached out your hand. You never showed us that you were internally falling apart, and none of us knew how to decipher the code of your illness to step in and stop your destruction, because we would have if we only knew how.
Random.
It's just in that order. I'm like, oh, and that's why I'm like, and I know the day he died. I'm like, all right, I know when I wrote that. And that's probably the second. I don't want to read that one, so that was strange. This one is called Join Me. Not unlike an uprooted plant, my leaves have been wilting since I've been extracted from my only home and then transplanted over 1,000 miles away. The land's parched like my now exposed roots, which are writhing, searching for nourishment once again. Everyone tells me to relax here, get comfortable, like they know that this is where I'm now forced to stay, because they know that now I have no choice. So I do what I'm told, just like a good little girl is supposed to do, and I search for a place where I, for once, can call my own. And what I found is just the bare bones, but nothing is a home until I make my mark and pour my soul into these rooms and make this house a home. But I'm here. Things are only starting to fall into place but now that I'm here, I was wondering if you could join me. Maybe I'll set up a table and we'll find some silverware from boxes that still need to be unpacked. There's no working electricity, so maybe we can just light some candles and celebrate in the dark with champagne. Who knows, maybe a stray cat will come to the window to check us out, because I've been uprooted, you see, and I've been looking for a place I can call my own. Let's step outside, because even now more stars are looking out for me, and my favorite hunter is right outside when I step outside my own front door, maybe gaining strength from me as I gain strength from him. Since I've been uprooted, I have needed that strength. I find it in the night sky, this one constant thing in my now uprooted life. So please, my roots are searching for water. My veins now squirm trying to find a new home. So I will ask you nicely. I'll stand on my tippy toes and raise the pitch of my voice like I do whenever I ask for something. Please, join me. I'm searching for a place to call my own. I'm searching for a place I can make my home. I'm all alone here. So please, join me. And then actually, I was writing about our first night in the house when we had no electricity and we had candles and we drank champagne, and some cat came over the window checking us out. It was all quite adorable. this is gonna go. We'll
Good,
see.
yeah.
This one is another dreams poem that was written. I've not read this probably since it was written. Jet stream of water, dreams, 3919. Straddling this yard-wide log, floating in the water, I could see trees in the distance. It seemed this log was a makeshift boat and I was catching the current. It didn't surprise me that this log was not spinning with me on it. This log I could see for at least 10 yards in front of me. I didn't turn around, but others were on it, like we were all riding this boat, which was actually a log, down the stream. I didn't wonder why I was here, or who these people behind me were, or where I even was. All that was stuck in my head was this massive jet stream of water lifting the front of my log boat. I mean, I had no oars or anything, so all I could do was try to lean to affect the way the log turned and stop it from being overturned into the water that seemed to me to be deeper than the bottom of the ocean. I only hoped that my log/boat mates helped me, and behind me they all knew that if we all leaned in front of this log and it started to rise, because if we leaned forward it would just rise to over 60 degrees from sea level, and they'd all avoid turning this log or falling off. And then the log started to drop. That was it. That was it.
That's from watching too many Ren and Stimpy.
Pardon me.
Watching too many Ren and Stimpy. That's where that dream
It's
comes from.
log, it's log, it's big, it's happy, it's wood. Sorry. Cartoon from a show,
And
and they
what
have
is
commercial
log?
for log. Everyone wants a log, you're gonna love it, log. It's a
Better than
commercial.
bad.
From Plano, it was selling a log for a toy. Everyone wants a log. It's big, it's heavy, it's wood. It's better than good, it's good.
We decided yesterday it was basically a slinky.
It's like a slinky kind of
Okay.
commercial
Yeah.
out of log from Ren and Stimpy.
Whoa.
Never mind.
Slinky made of log?
No.
Good.
Just saying that this goofy commercial was like as simple as something like a slinky. It was.
Because anybody that had a slinky and tried to send it down the stairs knows it goes down like 3 stairs, 4 stairs, and then it
And
turns
then it
rolls on
turns
the
on the side and
then
rolls.
on the
It
side.
doesn't work.
Yeah.
Oh my god! And then we left.
something mean.
And then we left our butts off having this discussion that in the back cover, I have a picture of me as a 6-year-old getting a slinky.
Oh.
It's like, yay, I got a slinky for Christmas. This is a little picture. Anyway, but that's enough about that, because this has nothing to do with that. I'm sorry. This has absolutely nothing to do with that. This poem is called Understanding Terrorism's Interior. Too many times these days do we see terrorism and not understand it. Recently we see Al-Qaeda attacks, and what we don't understand, we assume the Islamists are envious of our wealth because we only pay attention to what is right in front of us. And we don't realize that our own government was more than happy to fight communism by giving the Mujahideen Islamic fighters more and more weapons to fight the Russians. But once they were free, us Americans thought we could westernize the Middle East, which means that the last thing they wanted, which was the last thing that they wanted, translation, they were fine with taking our money so that they could fight, but otherwise they didn't want to be messed with. And boy, high and mighty us, we gave them some money because boy, did we want to meddle. Did that mean we deserve the terrorist attacks in '93 and '01 and all the mini attacks since in between? Probably not, but when you're really trying to make a point, sometimes most radical and absurd is in some people's minds the only way to go. Sometimes the prejudice some people face seems to be too overpowering to believe or even comprehend. It still boggles the mind to think that people exist who truly believe their race is all that matters. Their race, really. And if that's not enough, they can also hate some religions and use that ever so seductive violence to murder to get their point across. The scary thing is that this terrorism flourished in the United States in 3 different rounds from one group. The Ku Klux Klan gave white men the feeling they were doing more than merely preserving the only thing they ever thought was good, when in actuality it was just isolating them from anything interesting or different in the world. When their solution to their isolationism was beyond changing laws to making sure certain people weren't welcome, this narrow vision reduced them to killing innocent people, to thinking that hanging them in a tree helped their message. It's scary to think that this can exist on our own shores, and maybe it comforts us to know that this latest 3rd round of the Ku Klux Klan is only a sliver of the size it once was here, but it's lurking to catch us once we feel safe. Terrorism scares us because we all believe that we are open and welcoming and willing, and we forget that we only choose to spend time with those who are like us and who cushion our own narrow beliefs. We may not be terrorists, but in our own way, we choose that same isolation that may maybe lead to terror. We think we're all above it all. We think we're better than that. And then we look in the mirror and wonder what we really see. And yeah, well, I think that was written on 311, which is KKK. Gotta look for things for every day, and that's where that came from, I think. And I don't know where this one came from. This one's called Just Let Me Have My Space. And for those who wondered if I had a little Instagram image for it. So it's Just Let Me Have My Space. This is the last one for you. All these years, it was just me and my dad. He taught me to trust no one, to be self-reliant. You would call it staying off the grid, but my dad knew what was best. He taught me to read. He knew what government schools only would teach you what they want you to know. And when I first saw my dad shoot a gun, I knew this was the only life I'd ever lead. So I stayed with him. He was all I knew, and Dad was like my God. So I don't know who was right and who was wrong when people in uniforms came onto our land when they had no right to barge in. Oh, wait, I guess I'm now defining who was the one wrong. But after all that had recently happened, I don't know if us wanting to keep our privacy or is reason enough to shoot any intruders, or if it's okay that we got so exasperated with the public that we'll reject the public law with our own violence, or to stop this spread of all this public insanity to the unknowing and unsuspecting idiot masses. All I know is that I like my space, the trees, the river, the sun, and the weather. Just let me be alone. You and your modern views aren't welcome here. Just let me have my space.
No.
It's just me and my dad. This is a story. I don't know where. Just leave me alone. Just, you know. You won't leave me alone?
Now I want you to read this little story about the person who was the assassin for ISIS, who cut 5 people's necks apart and had no nightmares at all. That's terrible. We don't do that.
I should try to read, see if I can make this out.
Is this what you wrote?
Poem, yeah, some phrases are in here.
Okay.
But it's about saying goodbye because I didn't have anything about it. So we'll see how this goes. Anything can happen at any time.
Yes.
So it breaks my heart when you say goodbye. Your desire for life, your desire to live changes everything, because your beauty and grace, like a gazelle, is something I never wish to say goodbye to. I want to hold these images of you, these percolations that wash over me, because no one speaks in the language of angels unless it's you. until you say goodbye to me again. Because my fortune's been cast like rain, pummeling down on me ever since those words belonging to you were so succinctly punctuated to me. Goodbye. It still echoes through this skull chambering my mind. You gave me light. You helped me shine. This truth we shared together cannot be a goodbye, because our time together is eternal. So don't say goodbye. Our creative nexus will never end.
Oh.
How was that? I'm pulling this thing up only because I'm going to read to you a stack of new Twitter link. There might be 6 to 8 of them, but they're all short. I'm just leaving it there. It's just a display. I have no idea, John. I have no idea how that one is doing. So I just want to ask you on that one. I'm just looking at what I've got online, and I just have 2 that I wrote this week, and I've got to share them with you. This is element number 48, CD, cadmium and cancer.
And you know the terminal disease.
There's more poisonous cadmium in our food, but more cadmium is absorbed inhaling cigarettes. Vaping even releases cadmium into the air for everyone to breathe.
Wow.
If studies link cadmium and cancer, reverse osmosis, drinking lots of water may remove some cadmium before it's too late. They're on Twitter, like really short ones. So like trying to talk. This room. All right, now. But then it just scrolls back, and I've got to start off with cadmium. Where was I?
Cadmium and cancer.
Well, you know, they're all. This one is indium trying to get through. We live on smartphones and watch movies, share pics, send texts, and swipe on our little screens. When I finally realize that you are just on the other side of my screen, I panic. I move my fingers, failing to get through to you. Why give me what I need if we're meant to be apart?
Ooh. Whoa.
And that wasn't next one. Aha, number 50, SN. Oh, that was element 49, IN, indium. This one's the element 50, SN. Tin foil hats on Tin Pan Alley. This is what it's called. Jump on a hot tin roof wearing tinfoil hats on Tin Pan Alley. Can our foods in it, for the element tin is even in the soil under our feet. Naturally found in soil, it gets in our food, leaving tin within our tissue, in our bodies. And I suppose I'd care if I only had a heart.
Oh,
This one is element 51, SB.
Which element is that?
Antimony. Sordid and violent. Ancient Greeks used this as a remedy. Egyptians smeared it on their eyes as kohl mascara. Al-Qaeda chemists called this black powder al-kohl.
Whoa.
Swiss alchemists distilled it into al-kohl vini wine. This medicine may have led to Mozart's death. What a sordid and violent history. People try to work their butts off to come up with. Somebody used a fake name and wrote a book about all the wonderful things about antimony for medicinal purposes. Which I couldn't fit into a tweet. Sorry. This one is number 52. This is T. Tellurium is so high in the sky. Electricity is in the air, seeping from those tellurium-coated wires so far apart, so high in the sky. Protect us feeble humans from electricity rushing together in attraction, then violently rushing apart. You spare us anguish of conductivity, pushing apart in that high charge game. I'm just going to pull. I've read only 19 before, so. I heard that protesters in Venezuela were mowed down by tanks. And I thought about the other side of the world. And I thought about this side of the world. Pyramids that is called Our Demons Can Mark Us. No one wants to hear about something bad happening to you. I was raped, says the woman who worked as an acquaintance rape workshop facilitator for years. Yeah, that sounds believable, they think. You've understood the rolls of eyes and downward glances from people who don't want to hear it, as you shut up when someone physically assaults you or attacks you, because you see, you've got bruises and scrapes to prove it, but that doesn't matter when no one will listen. So you carry these attacks with you. You carry it all, the rapes and the beatings and all of the violence, like it's a crutch to hold, to help you when you need something to lean on. All I've noticed about you is that you seem to lean a lot on that crutch of yours. And that it's now something that you feel that you need to survive. Isn't it funny how our demons can murk us? Is all I think now. Isn't it funny how we seem to need our demons? They become a part of us now, and we can't let them go. I look at what happened and I think, isn't that funny? Because that's a nice lovely one about a wedding. Well, maybe I should just do a couple of, I'll do 2 poems and I'll end with only 19 to really get a happy ending. Well, these are all good. This is a short one called Bolt of Lightning, and yes, it has an Instagram page for it. You crept upon me with the sound of silence. You speed away as fast as a bolt of lightning. Now you intoxicate me with all your essence. Let me hold your strength and never let go.
That's you?
No, that's my electric car that I just bought. That's about a car. No, I broke it.
I'll get you for assault and battery.
This is why I've got a picture of me inside the car with the Instagram image. Because it's so true. In fact, John was like going to drive out of the driveway, and I'm walking the driveway, and I'm like, I wonder when he's going to get moving, and I look and it's already in the driveway. It's that quiet of a car. I'm like, oh my God, I didn't realize that it was actually running and moving. It's crazy. But I thought I'd do a short little thing that it doesn't sound like it's about a car, but it is. This one, right next to it on the page, is called Unchecked Electricity. There's a certain electricity in the air. You can hear it crackle from the power lines overhead. I've felt it course through me ever since you've come near me. You can feel the torque after I start my engine and press my pedal all the way down. Doesn't have to be fun. You can feel that charge between us. It's electric. It's almost something we can't control. But this is physics, so beware when we are left to our basic devices. And so, after you let it go, see what burns down after stopping the obstruction between us. This is what they get for letting our passions go unchecked. Buildings burn, cities collapse, empires are electric. So go ahead, look at what we've destroyed, but see what we can build.
Yeah, good luck.
That was not necessarily about a car, is it? Because it was talking about an attraction between people. It happened to be next to the poem where it was about a car, but
Sneaky.
it's sneaky. Do you want a happier one?
Yes, please.
Okay. I probably read this before, but I'm going to share it with you. It's called Only 19. It was written on May 7th this year. When I was 19, I thought I had the world ahead of me. I had started to live, but there was so much more I could do. When I realized that I was married to you for 19 years, I knew the love was good, but there was so much more love to share. It's fun to look back at a wonderful history we've shared together, but let me look forward and think of the rest of my life with you. People are amazed when they hear that we've been together for over 19 years. And it makes me wonder why people think it's uncommon for two people to remain happy together, to remain so in love. Because when you love, 19 years is only the beginning of life. When I was 19, I didn't know what life meant. When I loved you for 19 years, my love for you only began to scratch the surface. Once I was with you, married for 19 years, I knew that this time couldn't be all. Because I have loved you. I will love you. And my love for you will not die. So it is only 19, my love. Because that number really means that this is just the beginning of our lifetime of love. Are you looking for something to read? It's a one-page poem that I'll share with you. Can't tell you what it's about. Well, I can vaguely tell you what it's about. It's called Quesadilla in Our Underworld. You hung around with us for I don't know how long, and when we'd all go out, you'd buy us around. You wanted to be in our good graces, and you got there. You got under our skin, and we took you in. After all this time, you thought we confirmed you. You wanted to be a part of our family, but our outfit isn't that naive. I think my crew knew not to trust someone so willing to suck up. Because we all know you wanted to be a made man, but to us, you became the marked man. We knew you were the one who talked to the cops.
Oh.
You were the stool pigeon.
Whoa.
You were the snitch. We may have been blind enough to let you into our fold, but believe me, right now, my eyes are wide open. We've seen the double-crossing you try to keep so well hidden, so you're no friend of ours. This is Quesadilla in our underworld, so as for us, we don't need a sit down to settle this beef about the real rat. You better hope the contract's not out, because we can smell a rat from a mile away. One thing I thought I'd never read, but hopefully the rat won't know that the next open mic here for Poetry Aloud is not going to be here, but at the Grace Heritage Center. And you guys have all that information. There's an event listing that I put a post on it about. Hopefully the regular hosts, Joyce and Michael, will actually send stuff out so people will be aware of it. I want to thank everybody for coming out. I love your shirt, and thank you for coming, and thank you when you're so double cool. And we've got no appropriate endings for this, but thank you all so much, because we're keeping poetry alive.
Yeah.